listen to.
On right now?
Yeah, we're on right now.
All right. Okay.
No, I'm about to cut all that. Anyways, okay, let's
Do we though?
start.
Yeah, it's better than what we had before.
Yes. Yeah. The people want to listen to us discussing what we should talk about.
Yeah, I think that's better than what we had before.
Terrible cold start.
This is Verbal Laxative. I'm Jason.
Simpson.
And I'm Hassan.
Wow, you switched. Cool.
Yeah.
Keeps it fresh. All right, so what you actually wanted to talk to us about something. We were just talking about Trump, so we might as well just dive into that.
Dive into Trump first.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
That's
you.
not something I want to say to it.
What?
Well, if
That's
you
not-
want to dive
into
into
Trump.
Trump,
Oh, dive into Trump.
it's better than him diving into you.
Yeah. If you had to pick,
I don't
pick
think-
diving into him.
Any guy, I would pick diving into him versus him diving into
Yeah,
me.
diving into him instead of diving into me.
Yeah.
At least you get to choose.
And he seems kind of
I'd rather just
needy.
not.
He's
too,
pretty
so-
big. He should be able to take it.
I'm sure. Never mind. I don't want to go too far into. I don't want to imagine anything I don't want to. So, what was it about Trump? He got laughed at or something?
At the UN, yeah, he got laughed at because he basically, well, first off, he showed up half an hour late or something
Yeah.
because he was supposed to go right after the American president is usually the first to go in the speech circuit, I guess.
There's a lot of people speaking this time. It's like one of those I don't know if it's a yearly thing, but the UN basically they all get together, the General Assembly, and basically just people just come up and make, I don't even know what it is, speeches or something. They all prepare a
Yeah.
speech, they come up and they talk.
But traditionally, it's always been the U.S. president goes first.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. His speech was like, it was pretty. I guess it's something that you wouldn't expect usually at the UN, where it's like there's like everybody laughs. There's a laughs track after something he said. Like it was a comedy club, but it was okay.
What did he say that got people?
Well, he said, I've done more in 2 years than any other American administration ever in the history.
Okay, that's a pretty good.
Yeah, and
joke.
then people started laughing, and then it was like, oh, yeah. And then he's like, oh, I didn't expect that, but that's okay. And then people laughed even more.
That's a good one though.
It's
That's
a good, if you think about it,
it's a good bit.
yeah, if you think about it, he's a good opener. He's a good opener. He's a good opening act for the main show.
So
He's the hype man. Hype man for the United Nations.
I'd hate to be the guy that follows that. I didn't
Fuck,
prepare
really?
any jokes.
That was funny.
I didn't know we were doing jokes this year.
Yeah, I don't know who followed him, but the guy that followed him was super serious. It's the normal speeches that you usually get. It was quite out of place. But the funny thing was about that, besides them all laughing at Trump, was I think a couple speeches in, the Iranian president came on, Rouhani, or I forget his name, and then he basically came up and he just laid into the U.S. He just talked shit about them all. His entire speech was 90%. The U.S. a bunch of fascist Nazis. Who the fuck makes a deal and then just breaks it, and then who the fuck makes causes all the tension in the world. Yada 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 yada, and then the camera would cut to the U.S. delegation. And two guys sitting there, they were so furious.
They do the old Simpsons tug at the
Yeah,
collar.
if only you can tell that one of them was kind of like sweating a little bit. I don't know. I think they're kind of used to it. A lot of people back then, they always came up and just shit talk the U.S. in front of everybody. Which is you gotta sit there. You can't say anything, right? You can't heckle. So you just have to sit there. And
It
take
actually is a comedy club.
Yeah, it's like Bizarro Comedy Club. This would be the worst roast.
It would become a roast of Donald Trump,
Yeah,
and he won't even realize it's I guess this is just how the UN runs.
yeah, and it's all set up for a roast too. Because in a roast, usually the roastee sits in a chair on stage while the roasters come up and to the podium and just roast. Well, the UN, the way they introduce speakers that come out, I don't know why they do this, but they do it, all the leaders. So all the leaders or whoever, the speakers are in the back room, And then I guess I don't even, for lack of a better term, the MC calls, like, I would like to invite His Excellency, yada, 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 President of the United States, Donald Trump, or, like, the King of Jordan or whoever, to come up. Comes up from backstage. There's a chair on stage that he sits in. I don't know why they have to. They just sit in there. Everybody that comes out have to sit in that chair first, even though he calls it. And then he says something more about, and now everybody, would you please, like, welcome whoever. And then that guy gets up from the chair and goes to the podium. The chair is about like 3 feet away from the podium, but it's just protocol for people to come up, sit in the chair after they get introduced again, and then come up and do the speech. So the whole stage is already set up for a roast. You just the guy like Trump or whoever doesn't even have to go up to the podium, come up, sit in the chair, and then some fucking Bill Burr or whoever will come up.
That would be good.
Yeah,
if he's the moderator of the UN.
The UN is set up for roasting. It would be overkill though. I mean, like, you could get anybody to roast.
No, but I think Bill Burr would be awesome because there's like no holds barred with him. He'll just, I mean, he goes out crazy anyway. So if
he just says whatever.
He says whatever.
he says,
I mean, his bits on like equality, or I should say, gender equality and stuff like that. It's very spot on, but people still find it funny, even though most people that say that kind of stuff would get like completely wrecked from it.
Yeah, oh, he's good. He says what's on his mind, and then he's rich enough that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So,
he even has his own Netflix cartoon.
Yeah. Which one was that again?
F is for
Yeah.
It's supposedly after his like childhood or something. Well, loosely, I should say.
Well, it is set in the 70s, so yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was a pretty slow news day otherwise, so I don't know. The only other thing that really is Trump related is not really even too much connected to him. It's just the Brett Kavanaugh thing. I don't know.
He nominated him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, everybody knew that he would, and I don't know if it was like this is one of those things where it's like the establishment, the Republican Party, basically tells Trump, oh, we need to nominate this guy to be Supreme Court Justice, right? It's not like, I don't think Trump even knew who the fuck the guy was before, he became president. It's just, like a Republican Party pick. But, that said, yeah, he nominated him, and there's just a lot of controversy over that. I don't know. It's kind of a sweet gig though, because you get nominated as judge, you're there for life until you die.
That's such a sweet role. You get paid up the ass too.
I imagine so.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got his own controversy going on right now, doesn't he, Brett Kavanaugh?
Yeah, and it's actually an interesting question if you're gonna think about it yourself. Basically, and for anybody that doesn't know, the big controversy is when he was a minor, when he was 17, or don't remember the exact age.
Something like that in high
He
school.
was
There's
in
a lot
like,
of
yeah.
there's a lot of accusations that he either sexually assaulted other people,
Was
or
part
he
of
was,
like
witness or a participant of that stuff.
So there's been multiple victims that came forward.
Yeah.
Is it like 3 or 4 people?
I think it's three.
Multiple people, not like Cosby numbers of people.
Well, he's in jail now.
Yeah, he just got
Cosby's
sentenced.
yeah.
That guy. You're gonna eat all the Jello in jail.
Actually, I saw a headline. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's like Cosby's first meal in prison was like vanilla pudding. Like, okay.
Of course he would. Yeah, I don't like the pudding. I like me the pudding. I don't know how to do Cosby, but he looks like a man that loves his pudding. But yes, back to Brett Kavanaugh.
Back to Brett.
Still sexual assault allegations when he was younger, and then I guess people, with these Supreme Court justices, it's always like it's always a hill for each party to die on, the Democrats and the Republicans, because it's a lifetime appointee, and there sits an odd number of judges on the Supreme Court. They vote, they vote either, not really vote, they rule either conservative or liberal-ish, right? They have also I don't remember if they have the power to overturn past cases, but anyways, it's supposed to be really important, and these are pretty tough spots, right? they chose this guy because the Republican Party really likes him because he's super conservative. And if he's on, it doesn't matter who is president next. This guy is serving for life, right? So once he's in, once you're in, right? Your picks are in. So I don't know why they chose this as the hill to die on. I mean, like, I think Jason said earlier, why don't they just pick some other guy? One that isn't so controversial.
Yeah, we were talking about this at lunch for a bit.
Yeah, and then common sense would be like, yeah, well, if this guy has so much heat, just pick someone else. Pick another super conservative judge. There's tons that you could probably find. But it just seems that this is the hill. They're going all in with this guy.
and even Trump, especially so. Like he's just he's making fun of the people or the women coming out against him, like against Kavanaugh. Like, you're president again, Trump. Can't surprise us anymore. I guess we shouldn't be surprised, or I shouldn't be surprised at what Trump will stoop to. But he's just they picked a hill to die on, like you said, and
my personal opinion, I don't think Trump really gives a shit. I think he's just mad because people don't like what he picked, right?
Yeah, no, that.
I think that's it. He's
something petty.
He's more
at
like,
the end of the day, it's something. Either they could pick somebody else, or, I mean, and a smart decision would be to go with somebody else and just bypass this whole scandal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. His is mostly just, why are people hating my picks? It's not fair. It's my pick, you know. They're good picks. They're wonderful picks. They're the best picks.
But how does he not realize? I was like, oh, okay, I might have goofed here.
Actually, I think if it was easy for him to change, he would do it. I definitely think he'd be like, yeah, okay, no one liked him, but that's okay. I got a new guy. he would.
So when did these victims even come forward with the rape allegations? Was it after he was picked?
It would be after he was.
So nothing was mentioned beforehand or anything, because that'd be pretty crazy.
Not in the national spotlight.
No.
I'm not sure if there was any mentions beforehand, but and even these people, I think a lot of them just like, they may have just kept silent about it, because you know, like, this guy did that to them when they were young, and now he's out of their lives. And then all of a sudden they see him on national TV, and they see that he could be in a huge position of power. I guess that's one of the reasons they could come out and say these things. You know,
was it on CNN or something that we were watching during lunch at the place? That it said that the third person that came forward about this, she was saying how she did tell like a couple other people at the time about it, so it maybe not like officially reported to the police or anything, but she might have mentioned it to friends or something.
Yeah, but like.
If that means anything.
That's the thing. How much can it mean? Because they're talking about back when they were like 16, 17 or something. And then even if she did tell her friends, then they would be, the same age, 16, 17 back then.
Well, can they take their word for it after all this time has passed?
Before we get into that part, I just want to say, like, you know, like, this is like the third person that came up against, right? So unless, like, first one, maybe you could say, I don't even know. First one is pretty serious. But if you say, "Oh, that's a fluke," I don't know. I've never met this one before. Second one comes, third one comes.
Yeah, the first one. I mean, yeah.
You kind of look like a fool if you're still trying to deny these. I don't know.
No, there is some basis to the accusation.
Like, exactly.
Come up with nothing, but
no. The whole point is, like, if three people are coming out, like, there's probably a good chance that you can't just explain all of them away by just saying they're lying or they're making it up, right?
But that's what the Republicans are doing, because they're just saying that, there were kids back then, and kids will be kids, and you can't even
kids will be kids. They'll yell rape at anything.
Well, not kids will be kids, but boys will be boys at that age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is this is the hill they chose to die on. But like, okay, so yeah, Republicans are stupid. They should just choose someone else that doesn't have so much heat. Who knows why they don't? Probably a little bit of, like, you know, all in. They went all in. They don't want to lose the rest of the face that they invested in this. But
for what it's worth.
Yeah, whatever fucking reputation any of them still have. Not just Republicans, but any American, lawmaker and politician. Who cares?
What are the chances that all these women are part of some, like, conspiracy just to get him out?
Oh, you know what? Like, that might not even be a joke to some people. Like, a lot of people believe that. Like, they're saying these They're setting him up. The machine has turned out like gotten these people to come out and say this just because Kavanaugh is a conservative judge and like the liberals or whatever want to just fuck everybody.
I'm sure they're background checking all of them to see if there's any link to them or
Definitely.
anything.
Alex Jones, wherever he is, holed up somewhere, he is saying this.
He's definitely saying that.
If he still had a show, this is what he would say.
He's probably yelling at the wall right now.
Yeah. No, there's judges. They're setting up the judges.
And mopping is waiting for it.
But like, okay, but one of these questions is actually it might be a question that's not really easily answerable, and it's like, should something that you do before you were an adult, when you were a teenager, I guess, should it affect something that you do later on in life?
Yes.
As an adult?
Well, I think so, considering how African Americans are treated in the U.S. I mean, if any teenage male African Americans are caught doing something, how many have been shot, and how many have been, treated as adults because they're perceived as thugs? So why can't that go for white people as well, privileged white people? So if you did something at 17, then I mean, you're not like you're 8 years old or something, or 10 years old.
But so okay, by that logic, then, if they're 17, they're 16, they commit a crime, they should be tried as an adult.
I think it might depend on severity and age.
I think it should be equal. Like, if they're gonna treat a black kid for robbing a store as an adult,
right?
Then why shouldn't some white kid who may have assaulted a girl back when he was 17, why can't he should be treated the same way too then?
I wonder what are the numbers for that. Like, how many kids, even if they're from like the ghetto, if they're black or non-white, have been tried as adults for like say stuff that isn't like a triple murder.
Well, they bypass the trial by shooting them dead right away. So
well, that's the thing. Like, if it does go to trial, you have to treat it fairly, and they could reference other cases where that was the result of that similar case, so we'll have to do something similar.
I mean, like, okay, let's just say shootings aside, like police shootings aside, because it's not like police shootings. It's not like the cop shooting a black kid is legal, per se. Like, they have to, like if they just came out and said, "Oh yeah, we shot this guy because we thought he was pulling the gun on us," or there's a big outcry, right? There is a big outcry, and there is a big the public makes it a big deal. The law, you would think the law would also make it a big deal as well. But anyways, point is, there's a big deal when that happens, right? And it's not like it's a given that if they shoot kids, that's okay. Along that, should they be tried as like should young kids or teenagers, when they commit a crime or something, like, should it follow them for that long?
Ideally, no. In a utopia, if we lived in a freaking perfect world, then no, kids shouldn't be tried as adults. But if these kids are coming from such a privileged background, or that they are possibly or likely to have important roles later on, then. But then again, you can't figure that out back when they're 17, whether they're going to grow up to be.
I think you're getting on. I think you're getting onto something that probably touches at this whole nerve of this situation, and that's if you're in a position, you're from family of privilege, or if your station was a privileged one. Let's say, like you're not poor. You grew up. You're in a rich family, or you have a path to become in a position of power. These things, I think, fair or not fair, it's going to affect you a lot more, especially if you're a public figure. Mm-hmm. Something that you do when you were 17, 16, and what it was. I guess if he shoplifted, nobody would think too much of it.
Yeah, it's the severity of it.
But it's the severity, but it's also
They're worried about like he got away with it. I think that's the big thing that these people are getting mad at.
Well,
like,
if at the
got away
time
with
he
it.
got punished for it, then he wouldn't have been brought up as a nominee.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that even if he after the first girl, even if he said something, like if he just owned up to it, maybe there wouldn't be as much.
like
If he just said it, like
if he said it,
that was me.
I was a stupid.
I was a stupid. Like I'm a stupid kid. Like regardless, that was the time. During that time, we're all like this, but that's no excuse. That's so wrong. Yada yada yada. And if this affects my Supreme Court nominee position, then so be it. Then that's what I deserve. Blah blah blah. Maybe it wouldn't have been blown up that much. But I think the first time it came out, he just denied everything, right?
See what I mean, like when it comes to privileged, wealthy individuals and kids, if someone at 17 does something illegal or wrong, how do we know their intent back then? Did they do it because they're just a stupid 17-year-old, or did they know that their family can get them out of it, or even if they do get caught or something, that they have the means to bypass the law? So that's why they did it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence a lot of times because sometimes you hear about these really, really horrific murders or something, right? And then even if it was like a group of people, the ones that are adult, they get tried as adults, obviously, right? They get life in prison for like doing first degree. But if they had someone that was under 18 or something like that, you have to withhold their name from the press. They get tried as a juvie. It kind of makes you, in a lot of cases, it does kind of make you mad because it seems clear, even though we're not like the jury or the judge or anybody in that position. It seems kind of clear that they knew kind of what the fuck they were doing, and they were fully intending on doing that. But they get tried as a kid, as not an adult, get a lesser sentence, and they get out after that. Yeah, in those cases, you kind of wish that they would get tried as an adult. But on the flip side, there is a case, I think, to be made that kids are kids, and ideally, you don't want something that you did as a kid when you didn't know better to ruin the rest of your adult life.
Yeah, I think that's true. Because it's like, you kind of touched upon it, the intent of it.
Yeah.
But he feels like 16 or 17, you're just a year, maybe more, maybe a bit less, from being tried as an adult. I think at that point, if it's something as serious as rape, then you would have to like...
Yeah, it's a serious crime.
They shouldn't just define it based on
He's
age
under
of
18, so he's still a kid.
Sometimes, like the public is usually a bad... Like, the mob justice, the mob mentality of the public when they're really outraged at something, it's probably not the most best thing to have, and when you're trying to have like an impartial judgment in like a case.
So.
But sometimes the public sentiment could be a good indicator of, I don't know. To me, it seems like a good indicator when holy fuck, you know what? You should try this fucker as an adult. Because if everybody's outraged at something that they did and it was clearly done with full knowledge, full intent, and it's a horrific crime, it might not matter if he's 17.
Well, the public always takes things to extreme too.
To the extreme, and yeah, they should never be listened to in a supposed impartial case. But sometimes it's like a good barometer to kind of see, like, yeah, this is a fucked up case. Maybe you should try him as an adult.
Yeah, that's true. But you're always gonna see, on forums or whatever, the absolute like well past extreme. It's like, oh, all those cases where a kid gets shot or something by a cop,
Yeah.
and how to deal with that cop. It's always like absolutely devastating that
Yeah.
What he did was obviously wrong and everything like that. But you have to have a fair trial. Because who knows the circumstances exactly? All the public mainly knows is the headline, like, oh, cop shoots kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's all you get. And then that's why they'll take it to the extreme.
It's a pretty big breakdown in trust in society when you start having something where it's like underprivileged black neighborhoods versus the police, in these matters. That's a big indicator something's wrong. And I don't think there's any real clear way to fix it.
Who was
This
it? Who-
this light topic.
I wonder if they would do the same thing if it was a black cop that shot a black kid. It wouldn't make as much of a headline or anything, but would they take it
It
as
was still
don't
seriously?
think it-
cop shot kid.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
but
a
would they
lot
still
more,
raise that?
They have a lot more optics. That's what they say, and it makes the news media rounds a lot more. If it's white cop shoots black kid,
They make it a racial thing.
yeah, and plus it is true that the media does fan these. They do make it.
Oh
big.
yeah, that's how they get
They make
the
money.
views and
Yeah, this is how they make a living. It has to be big news, and they search for the biggest, juiciest news. White cop shoots black kid is top tier, top notch, juicy.
Speaking of cops shooting black people, did you hear about the cop who walked into the wrong apartment and shot the black guy living there because
Oh,
it
yeah.
was her own place?
I read, or
Oh,
I
man.
only read that headline for that. I just found it kind of strange. Like, was it just unlocked or something?
I don't know how she got in. I guess it was unlocked or something, but apparently she has been fired from her job and
Okay.
charged for manslaughter, I think now.
Well,
So
that
he-
should
the-
be right. That
At least.
it was dealt with like that.
So was he like just?
But he was in his house. He was in his
Yeah, but
apartment.
did she like just shoot him in the head or like it was
She shot
definitely
him dead.
lethal?
I don't know how many shots or rounds or anything, but I read like one article on it just a couple of days ago where they said that she finally turned herself in and she's being charged for
Well, that's
manslaughter. or
good on
something.
her
But
for coming.
After, but they made so many in between that time. There were so many, you know, fucked up things in the story where apparently at one point they were saying that to save face, they were saying that the guy had drugs in his apartment or blah blah blah, just to still, you know, just
Sprinkling
to
the
paint,
Yeah.
sprinkling the cocaine.
just to paint him as the bad guy. Like it can't possibly be that the cop is the bad guy.
Yeah,
in,
it just
in this
remember.
scenario.
Well, I don't know if Zinzin was directly referencing it, but the Dave Chappelle bit from
Yeah.
back then.
Just sprinkle some crack.
Sprinkle some cocaine on.
Shoot anyone, sprinkle some crack, you're good.
I'm guessing. I'm not sure. If
But
I
yeah,
read
he could have
this.
been holding a knife or something. But it's like that's not his fault. What if he was just like
No, I-
making dinner and then she just came in and shot him?
I think it was like 10 or 10:30 p.m. and I think I'm not sure now. I can't remember, but I think she may have been, you know, drunk or something too, or
The cop was drunk.
the cop. Yeah.
Oh yeah, then
Yeah,
he definitely should get.
You know that I don't know if it's a real thing that they do, but you know in TV shows and stuff like Police Academy, or that's a movie, but they're doing the whole training thing for cops, and they got those
Yeah,
cardboard cutouts of
Yeah, the
people that
target
come
call
up.
up,
the girl
And-
holding the baby.
Yeah, it just seems like she'd be the one. Like she opens the door to her own, seemingly her place,
Yeah.
and just randomly sees someone. He's not coming at her, I don't even think, or anything, and she just shoots. So I'm pretty sure that she would have failed that.
Her initial argument was that he was being loud and argumentative and like not.
Well,
not
yeah,
listening
someone
to
just
me.
barged into his place.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, she should go to the slammer. She
Yeah.
should fucking.
At least
Throw the book
she
at
came
her.
clean about it, so I guess that's something.
Well, she turned herself in after like 4 days or 5 days or something.
Yeah, but I mean, some people, after a hit and run or something,
Yeah.
you get that shock that, the initial instinct is like that fight
To
or
run,
flight thing, and, most people just try to leave, but
Jason speaking from
I
experience.
appreciate, well, actually,
It's like 50 people dead by
back
his
when I was still going to university, I was walking to the bus stop to go to school that morning, and I just looked down the street because there's like an ambulance there and like fire truck and everything, like police cars, and then I just see laying on the road, it's just like they got a white sheet flapping in the wind, and it's just like a body there, and it's just like, holy crap, like this is a lot to take in first thing in the morning. But yeah, it was a hit and run. It was an old lady that apparently got hit actually by 2 cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know
I
where that
remember
was?
this one.
Yeah,
I
it was.
remember this one.
She's crossing the street. It is a crosswalk,
Yeah.
and it's in the morning. Apparently, one car hit her, and then drove off. But then, like, I guess one was immediately after that car.
Yeah. And it
So
was
he also
dark
hit
too.
her.
It's early morning.
Well, it's early morning, yeah,
Yeah,
but
so-
still, like, and then they both kind of booked it.
yeah.
I never
Um,
catch.
After I think a week, one of them confessed,
Yeah.
and then I don't know about the other one. I think they found him, but I don't know if he came
I
clean
think they
of it.
found him after, like they had to
Yeah, like the
find him themselves. Like he didn't turn
yeah,
himself
the
in.
auto. Yeah, but yeah. So it was a bit messed up to see, just the body in the morning, and then
Yeah.
just like trying to search on my phone real quickly, like what the hell happened here, and then but it's like obviously way too soon before anyone reported it. But yeah,
that was
super messed up.
Yeah, that's probably the same. I don't know. Like,
But yeah, point is,
Something-
the guy that turned himself in, he gets off easier because of it. I don't know exactly what he got sentenced with, but at least he came clean. Other than the other
was
dude.
he the second guy that?
I think it was the second
It was
guy.
the second guy that
Maybe.
killed himself.
I guess I think they would just, at the most, they charge. I don't know. They charge him for leaving the scene. I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't remember what happened with that,
I don't know what they got charged
or if
with.
anything has.
I'm not exactly sure. If he stayed, I don't know if he would have gotten in trouble. The second guy, don't know if he would have
No.
gotten in trouble.
I don't know. I don't think so because the impact was caused by the first car, right?
Ah,
Yeah, I think he was going really fast though. It's like right after his school zone, but I don't know if it was
okay.
like in effect at the time that it was, because it was still early morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
well, someone. Society demands that someone gets punished for that, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
that's fair.
And then like all the cop shootings of these people, society demands that people get punished, and the cop is held to a higher standard because they're the ones that hold the guns, right? They can't. Anybody that they kill, it has to be really, really scrutinized. And there's a big problem in the U.S. with like cops killing a lot of black people, but it's not just cops killing black people. Even the cops kill white
They
people.
kill everyone.
They kill everyone. Equal opportunity killing, I guess. I don't know. I remember there was one video where that guy that had an airsoft gun in Vegas where he just got Swiss cheese by that one SWAT officer. Like that was pretty bad as well. And the guy it was on video. It was on the body cam of the cop.
Was it actually like a believable gun, or was it one with like an orange tip and everything?
Well, I think it was a believable gun, but it's not like he came out with the airsoft gun
Like
and then he got
pointing
shot. No.
yeah.
No. If you ever see this video, it's on YouTube, and it's from the body cam of the SWAT guy. So he has the guy with his arms up already on the ground, and the guy's like crying.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." Blah blah blah. He's a complete wreck.
Yeah.
The SWAT guy, like, to his defense, he doesn't know if the guy's like faking it or if he has another gun in there, right? So that's the only defense he could have, and I think that's pretty much it, because the guy's like yelling at him. The guy's like saying, "Oh, get on the ground. You have to." Oh, it's like he's told him, "You have to crawl towards me, basically, but keep your hands in the air. If your hands fall, if I see your hands, like if you reach for anything," and the guy was like pulling his pants up and whatever, right?
Yeah.
If I see your hands go down at all, I'm gonna fire. Like, you
God.
understand? The guy, and the guy, the airsoft guy is losing it. He's hysterical. He's completely upset, right? He's beside himself. He doesn't know what to do. He's super scared, right? No quarter given. So the guy, is trying to crawl towards the cop and trying to keep his hands raised as best he can.
So is he just on his knees and just
Sort of
inching
on his
forward?
knees, inching. Well, he said he could use his hands to kind of crawl a little bit, but like don't reach anywhere else. I think he did reach behind
pull
to
his
kind
pants or
of.
something.
I don't know. Pull his pants or like to stay his balance or something. Guy got lit up on camera too. He was crying.
How the hell is this on YouTube?
Yeah, it was. Well, it might not be on YouTube anymore, but it's on. It's on. You can find it online somewhere.
You can find it probably on Reddit, subreddit. Watch people die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, any of those gore sites, you can see him on there. He just gets lit up. And I don't remember if the cop got in trouble for it at all.
if it was on like, well, it's obviously on the internet, so he must have got flack, and he's most likely at least fired.
I don't know. I
There's
don't
no
know.
The
way,
public will make such a big outrage out of
if
over
the
that.
video's out there, there's.
He might have. I'm not. I don't remember the outcome of that one. But yeah, they have just a problem in general of.
Why didn't he just do the usual like lay on the ground, hands in front, and then like just.
I don't know. Yeah, why would you ask him to crawl towards me? Just tell him to lay on the ground, and then you go to him, and then handcuff his hands behind his
You
back.
search him. Well, yeah,
right?
it's lay down, put your
Search him
hands on the back of your head, and spread your
I think he
legs.
thought that there was more people behind him. So after they shot him, didn't miss a beat. They're like, all right, go search the room or whatever, right? So him and his partner and his a group kept on. They were still alert, going into the room and searching if there was anybody else in there.
Well, I have an airsoft gun.
Yes, well, don't bring it with you to Vegas.
I don't bring it anywhere with me. But
Don't touch anything that looks like a gun. As simple as that.
it's already mine, and it's fun to play with.
I don't know. Some people look at it too, like what happened in New York. I think the cops had they had like a dispute with even the mayor at the time. I think it was De Blasio at the time. De Blasio, there was a wave of cop killings in New York, if I remember, and there was a wave of
Killings?
yeah. There was a couple of cops that got killed, and there was a lot of guys in the ghetto, so a lot of black guys that got shot. Right, so I don't know if those were connected or at all.
It's like a gang war with cops.
Actually, sorry. Yeah, you know what? Actually, this was during that time when like the Black Lives Matter movement was going into full gear, and there's a lot of black guys, that got killed in America, and there's a lot of outrage in that time. And I think in response, some crazy nut job somewhere in New York took it out on cops, and like I think killed even two of them
right.
sitting in the
Yeah,
car,
I
killed
remember.
some other ones, and basically he was saying like, oh, this is for whoever was shot, right? What any of those, the black kids that were shot.
Yeah.
So then the cops are upset, of course, right? Black people are all upset, and then I think the New York Mayor De Blasio, it was a speech at the funerals for the cops that were killed, and I think the cops at that funeral, they all turned their back towards them, right, out of disrespect against the mayor, because the mayor previously said something about like, the cops have to be more. He didn't side. The cops didn't think the mayor sided with the cops in this whole controversy. This whole I can't remember any of the guys' names now. The guys that did get shot that year, all the black kids. But yeah, they thought that the mayor didn't have their back, and now that their colleagues have been shot, the mayor, he has no grounds to be at this funeral for their colleagues, so they all turned their backs against them. It was like whole cop brotherhood sort of deal.
How long ago was this?
This was a couple years back.
So not that long ago.
That was like 13.
The
or
Ferguson
14 or
riots
something.
or
Yeah.
whatever, that it was during
Oh.
those years.
I see.
14.
I think it was sooner than that. I don't know.
So a few years, roughly.
Yeah, so it's a lot of it has died down now, but back then when it was full swing, that's
Yeah.
what happened. And then remember in was it Dallas? Dallas, they had that huge incident there where a whole bunch of cops got killed by these guys that were out to kill cops that day, right? You guys remember that one?
Not really.
It was like the whole police department of, I think it was Dallas and the neighboring state, and was on alert because these these cop killers were out to kill cops, and they had like, I think they shot like 4 or 5 cops or something on that day, even 12 cops. I don't know. It was a
If they
insane
planned this
number.
whole thing, like they could have done a lot of damage. A lot more damage, I should say.
They did the maximum amount of damage. Well, these guys. Anyways, you can search it up. Yeah, it was crazy. So definitely at that time, the police felt embattled, and then like the other side, the entire black community, felt pretty pissed off, to the point where a bunch of crazies took up arms against the cops in multiple cities.
That must be like absolutely frightening to see if you're just a civilian on the street and you see guys just like go up to cops and just kill them. Because you don't know if they're gonna target anyone else. Just like
They had footage. I don't think that the news blurred it out, but there was like they caught footage of the guys like basically outmaneuvering the cops. Because I forget if some of them were like military veterans, so they kind of knew a little bit of how to like tactically, bring the fight to them, right? So there was one footage where you can see out on the street there was one cop having a shootout with one of these guys. So then what he does is he shoots the cop's hiding behind a pillar for cover, right?
Oh, I think I saw this.
The guy shoots to the left of the pillar, right? And then he quickly just like fakes and goes right to the right of the pillar. The cop, because he thought that the gunshots were coming from the left, he comes out to the left to try to counter fire against the guy. But the guy tricked him. He went to the right and he shot him right behind the pillar, and it was on to the right. And this was all on video. And yeah, you could see that was a pretty intense day. Like imagine if you're, imagine that's the environment you came from, where a couple of years ago there was like open violence against police in a couple major cities of your country, and years before that, lots of incidents where the cops shot a bunch of minorities in the ghetto. It's fucked. I mean, like I don't. It's kind of like bizarre to think of it now. Like, oh, everything's fine and dandy now because you don't hear about it.
Oh yeah, but I'm sure it still happens, like on a smaller scale. But it's like the Flint, Michigan, their water stuff. It was a huge deal before, and I don't think it's been solved yet.
Yeah, I don't think. Last time I checked,
and you
their
just
water
never
is
hear
still
about
shit.
it. Yeah. So it's
But
like
you
it
said,
just dies down.
It's the media with their, they gotta hype up the story, but then they gotta move on to a new story. Right?
Yeah, the media sucks. I hate the media.
They got short attention spans.
Yeah.
Which, it's legitimate because so much crazy stuff happens every day.
But that results in even shorter attention spans for the regular populace.
Well, yeah, because it's like, when was the last time you even heard of Flint or how they're doing?
Yeah.
It's been like years.
But those 2-3 weeks when it was like all over the news, everybody was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, like this is a huge deal.
Flint, Michigan, and now I still don't think they have clean water.
No.
They're still getting trucks shipped in for water and
No.
stuff like that.
It's only brought to the national attention of that country when it's to the benefit of somebody.
Yeah.
I think if I remember clearly, it was during the election time or before election time? I don't know. The story blew up, but then
early 2016.
the story blew up, but then they used that to say I guess somebody was we're the ones that will fix this. Mm-hmm. The other guys are the ones that caused it. Yada yada yada. It's only when it's like when someone of power is in a position to benefit it, then it becomes a big story. After that's done, it just kind of slinks away, right?
Yeah, and just sweep it under the rug because, hey, we brought it up, we got the votes, and that's all we need.
Yeah, if I remember if that was why. Either way, there's no one that would think that, oh, we don't hear it anymore because they solved the problem.
No.
I think that's rarely the case.
And yeah, it's just not. And that's like everybody seems to have a really short memory about these things.
Well, we remember.
You guys didn't even remember that massive cop shootout that took place.
I have a terrible memory. Flint, I only remember because he got a cool name.
Flint?
Yeah. It's like from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Never saw that movie.
The first one was actually good. I don't really remember. The second one I think was okay too. That was a huge tangent.
Yeah. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs from police shootings to...
Yeah. You could connect any two topics easily.
Alright.
Okay, but I'm kind of serious. Okay, I'm a little curious though. Where do you usually get, like, for lack of a better term, news? Like, how do you usually find out about shit that happens all around the world or around you?
I'm sure you know how I find out.
You're the perpetrator.
Mostly Google, but then that's a little biased because Google goes based on whatever I've searched. So most of my recommended articles are usually about movies and TV shows and
Yeah,
stuff. coming
that's how I
out.
found out about that stuff. But my actual news stuff, quote unquote, is like Reddit,
Or Reddit too, yeah.
because
A little
I'm
bit.
on there a lot.
I
So
started getting into Reddit now.
So it's not like the traditional news 6 o'clock news at all anymore.
I don't have cable. So.
I haven't even watched like regular traditional TV in years.
No, same as me, but
Well,
yeah.
I know you watch like news stuff on YouTube, but I don't. I just read about whatever catches my eye on.
yeah, I just read.
Reddit.
I read it mostly
Google.
from just like a news app or everything's like condensed there. But even then, that's only a snapshot.
The other way I get news
Yeah.
is the late night shows.
Late night comedy
like
shows.
Trevor Noah and Stephen Colbert and stuff. Whatever they've talked about or made fun of, if it seems interesting, I'll go actually search the
Yes.
real story.
Those guys, it's all going to be Trump. And it seems okay.
Well, he's entertainment.
He is, but then it seems like everybody's just telling the same exact jokes. You know.
It's
And
true.
that's kind of fucked up now that nowadays, if you think about it, the comedians are like people, or where people get a lot of news about the American president now. Like,
It's from comedians.
yeah, it's from late night comedians, late night talk show comedians.
More so than before, but yeah, I remember because when I had started cable, I'd watch Conan and other talk shows a lot, and that's how I found out about a lot of news that was going on. Because they
As a
just
joke,
bring
yeah.
up jokes, and yeah, I mean that's how I did it. Like Conan always has good stuff, and at the time, like way back when, Jay Leno also had some bits that were okay. Well, I'm not gonna give him flack for he still did an okay job.
David Letterman was the best.
Craig was amazing, but he didn't talk as much as about news.
Yeah, he didn't.
No,
That wasn't-
he did the weird stuff. He did the Craig, but I liked Craig.
Craig was it's like one of my favorite.
Yeah, I don't-
he's such a charismatic dude.
I mean, I'm glad that Stephen Colbert got the Late Show, but
No, I just wish Craig would still have his show.
no,
He talks with people like no one else does.
yeah. But the thing is, he announced him leaving like a month after Stephen
Yeah.
Colbert got picked for that. So I'm thinking he had hopes of getting that slot.
Well, of course, it's a huge
But-
slot.
Yeah, but then he got passed, so then he was just like, fuck it.
He left before Trump became president, or
Yeah.
It was like well before.
I wonder if he was still in the game. I wonder if his show would be like the exact same. As
I think he
everyone
moved on
else's
to
show.
host some game show type thing.
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard about it, so
Yeah, no, it's like a
probably
daytime.
not.
I don't even know if it maybe even got canceled. I watched like half of one episode when it was running, but I didn't understand the game, so.
I wish I was as charismatic as him.
He was, especially with the women.
Exactly.
He was charming as fuck,
That's all I care about. I mean,
dude. That guy,
yes.
wait, who replaced him again?
the James Corden.
Oh fuck, the guy that
Yeah,
just sings in the car. All
it's
the
a
time.
completely different show though.
It's a completely different show. Yeah. No. Craig Ferguson was awesome. I missed the guy.
No, he was good. He was pretty funny.
We should get him as a guest on the show. I think that'd be
He
terrific.
probably would agree if he was like.
This is rock. That would be rock bottom for him.
All right,
Yeah.
verbal laxative fans out there, let's get Craig on the show.
All two of you.
Hey, lucky for us, one of them is Craig Ferguson.
And one of them is at this table.
And one of them's in, what was it? Uzbekistan?
Yeah, I think that guy just listened to one episode and he's like, "What the fuck?"
He
is
was constipated and he searched up the wrong term and he got us.
This is the decadent West. What is this garbage? This clown show.
This is making my head hurt.
Okay. So in the future, what do you think? Do you think if you're gonna look for something to get information about what's happening around the world, you think it's gonna be basically just whatever you read on the internet? Is there even gonna be a need for the 6 o'clock news or news anchors or anything like that?
It's gonna be like web shows.
Everything's on.
Is it even gonna be like a news, the way the news is set up, like a news report, or do you think that people get more information now nowadays, more nowadays if it's from someone like John Oliver?
I think
You get the word out more from that because he gets so many people watching every day.
Yeah.
Or like whenever.
but they have
They gotta make it funny. Is that how
No,
people
no.
have to
No,
consume
but-
the news now?
they have a unique opportunity where they get to put a spin on it because they don't call themselves reporters.
Right.
They're not officially reported, so they. Of course, it's going to be a biased opinion, but they can put their, opinion on it or their own flavor to it rather than
They
just
don't have to be accurate.
monotone and just giving the news. And they don't have to be accurate. They can put a spin on it, make it a little.
They basically
Yeah,
have a
right.
table of comedians to write this stuff
And
up.
then, but that's the thing today, because like we were saying, regular general population has shorter
Does it seem,
and
does it
shorter
seem
attention
that
spans.
people
So-
on average just don't care that much? Does it seem that people on average are just dumber
I think so.
with all this information that anybody can get?
The information age, people get stupid.
Yeah, it seems that people
course,
have even
because-
less information than before.
Because
Well, it's because you have sorry to cut you off there, but you have so much information, and people can be so selective with it, and they're just selecting whatever they're interested in. So it's like, sports, or what's this celebrity up to, or hey, what movie's coming out and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. Because there's an overabundance of information, and
Sorry, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's not like back then where you had such a limited source of information. Like, you have a few news channels, or like TV channels in general. A few of them are news. That's all you have to watch.
Yeah.
You get the newspaper every day.
Yeah.
That's all you have to read. So, like, I didn't grow up in those ages necessarily. Like, at least at the age where I could read and everything, comprehend everything that's going on, global events. But that's how it was just up until recently,
Yeah.
where we have the internet for everything.
Now we get to choose, because before, the news was, it still is, but the news is on at a certain time, so every channel pretty much you tune in, it's news. Now you don't have to do that. You don't even have to look at the TV. You can choose to go on Netflix or go on YouTube.
Yeah,
or
everyone's cutting the cable.
So you think back then, even just by like osmosis, if you could, a kid that didn't give a shit about the news, you think maybe that they would have gotten exposure to at least something at the 6 o'clock news, because the whole family, I guess, gets around to watch it. The dad, I guess, would want to watch the 6 o'clock news or something like that. And then just because there's nothing else to do, and you watch it, it's like
Everybody
a
has
daily
to watch
routine. Everybody, you listen. It's in the background. You kind of know a little bit about stuff.
Yeah.
And now, even if you still live in a household like that, where the parents will tune into the news at 6 p.m., the kids or nobody has to, because they just switch to Netflix on their phone or something.
Yeah,
They just,
or their tablets or whatever.
Back then, there was one TV in the house, and if dad had the remote, then it was 6 o'clock news, and everybody had to listen.
And no one takes the remote from dad.
Exactly.
That's how you get it beaten.
And no more beating. in the face, too.
No more beatings. No more, 6 o'clock news. I honestly think people were just as stupid back then. It just wasn't as obvious.
I
Well,
don't think so. I have to disagree with
They're
that opinion.
stupid, I think, in different ways. If that makes sense.
Please explain.
No.
I think.
All right then. The end.
No, I think people, they weren't stupid, or we weren't stupid back then. We just had limited access to knowledge or to information. Whereas now, we have unlimited access to information, but we take it for granted. You don't remember anything. Back when we were kids, if you read or if you watched a movie or a TV show, you remember like line for line or anything. Now you can just be like, oh yeah, remember that episode where that happened, look it up on Google, and you can find what you wanted to quote or whatever.
Yeah, there's no need as much to remember things as much as back then.
simple
Just because you
math,
can look up everything.
Even simple math skills, and like
Oh, I love Wolfram Alpha. You type in the math question, and it just gives you the answer. It's terrific.
or you have the calculator in your phone, so nobody, even like simple multiplication,
Oh, yeah.
division.
I was thinking
people are
like
what the
advanced stuff
fuck
like
was that?
calculus and stuff too. You could do them.
Yeah.
So
But
why do you
even
think?
simple
So why
things.
do you think then? Nowadays you're more connected than ever before. You have everything at your
Yeah.
fingertips, and
You're
you know
spoiled now.
everything.
You're spoiled. You're taking it for granted. You will always assume that it's there. Hey, I don't need to remember this, because the next time I need to remember this, I can just go back to Google and search
So
whatever.
how much would they have to pay you to go 1 year without using, like, let's just say your phone? Like,
A lot.
Yeah, so you don't have your own personal computer basically in your pocket at all times.
It still wouldn't matter because other people do. Wherever you go now, there's even
Yeah, but
elevators
just for
have-
you, like
just-
you don't have your
you
phone
would-
on you
You would. I.
for a year.
How much do I need to get paid?
Yeah, for you probably less than other people, I think. But
Like a dollar amount to remove my phone
yeah, for a year,
for a year?
Each year it would cost more money because each year
there's more stuff. Yeah.
there's more. Though you get more integrated into this new digital society, and the more you're disconnected from it, it could actually cost you a lot more than it did in the past.
Absolutely, because you don't have, well, you wouldn't have as much contact with like other friends or family because it's harder to reach you.
Yeah.
But you get that freedom too. On the other hand,
It's not really a free. Like we were talking before, I guess, before the podcast today about the game that we all like to play, Live HQ,
oh yeah,
and
I
I mean
lost that.
that's
Well, everyone
just that's another example. Now you're just hooked to your phone for the chance of winning X amount of money. Like you know,
yeah, but
there's no guarantee you will, but most people will still log in. I do whenever I'm free and
Yeah,
it does
yeah.
pop up. I don't. It's not like I'm gonna.
I've never won a game.
I've never won a game either, but it's not like I'm gonna go out of my way. Like if I'm driving and be like, oh, pull on the side of the road and play the game because it's 7:00.
I wouldn't doubt people actually do that though.
That's what I was just gonna say. But there probably are some people who do that.
So would you do 100 grand? You're without your phone for a year.
Sure.
Really?
I don't think.
Yeah, I do it. 100
For 100
grand.
grand?
Yeah,
I-
that's good money.
TV still allowed though, like Netflix or just no phone.
Yeah, I just said no phone, so
Just
we'll
no
stick with
phone.
that.
So like if I had regular like a couple hours of Netflix and my books to read, I'd be fine.
100 grand.
Yeah, you can
That is a
start
lot
off-
of money.
Well, you can start off with this lower amount of money. Would you get paid like $500 to not use your phone the entire year?
$500?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but 10 years ago, that would be an easy question.
Oh, yeah.
$500, yeah,
Because
no fucking
You
problem.
can't even carry it with you.
So what year do you think it would take until, 100 grand to not use your phone? No way in hell. No way in hell would I ever do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no way in hell, but I just,
know, but
I'm
just
not
like-
as like
Well, at what
into
point
that.
in the future?
You just said no way in hell to $500 now, which 10 years ago, everybody would be like, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
no
Well,
phone,
yeah.
$500.
Maybe in the future, maybe it's not even phones, but whatever you're connected to, you can't go without it. For 100 grand, you would never even dream about disconnecting yourself from whatever the fuck you were gonna be on.
Just put a comment underneath. How much money would it take for you to go for a year without your phone?
Yeah, on Twitter, I guess.
What? Okay, or Twitter,
I
sure.
tried
I was
on
thinking
Twitter.
YouTube, but
I
whatever.
haven't even checked the account myself.
People are just leaving comments. Please respond. You guys don't respond. You guys suck. You're so lame. Never listening ever again. Die Hard fan. Signed. Stan.
Stand? What?
The Eminem. Song.
Eminem.
Oh, Stan. I thought you said stand. I'm like, what? That song is really dark.
Yeah.
I wonder if is that based on like a true story? Do you think like he actually got letters and stuff like that? I'm sure he does get a lot of messed up letters, but do you think it's actually like that is
Could
based on
be,
the
I
actual
don't know.
thing?
I,
That'd be super
there'd
messed
probably
up.
be some elements of reality in that song.
I heard Eminem came out with a new album
Yeah.
recently, but I haven't listened to it.
I haven't
Nope.
listened to it yet.
Don't care.
I heard it was pretty crap, but I don't know.
I haven't listened to it.
He was the best when he was a Slim Shady, and after he was no longer slim nor shady.
I'm
I
waiting
really liked
for-
it in Rap God. He was really good. The
I'm waiting for
album
Eric
before.
Church's new album, which is in October.
Is this like a
Country.
okay?
Don't
Yeah.
even listen to music anymore.
Okay. He went from country
You don't
to
even-
actual country. Well, I mean, I remember back then I was walking by his desk and he was listening to like some national anthems or something.
Those are
That's
the
the
ones-
reference I was
Those are the
making.
true songs.
Those are the
That's
original
true
songs.
music. Music that people die to.
People do die to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They die
die
for
for it.
them. Yeah.
Yes, no one dies for whoever the real Slim Shady.
They stand up. That's what they do.
So how much would you? How much money would you take for having to go
With
without
phone?
your phone for a year?
Well, I'm kind of on the fence about 100 grand. So probably not too much more than that, because
150 grand?
Potentially.
So if someone gave you 150 grand, you could go without.
That's a
your phone.
lot of money. I could do a lot of stuff with 150
You pay
grand.
off like your mortgage.
I
I could
can't
buy
pay off my
another
entire
100
mortgage,
phones.
but I actually do want a new phone.
What are you
But
thinking?
I'm waiting for the new Pixel to be announced, which
Oh.
is October 9th. But yeah, I watched the Apple conference, the Apple event, where they announced the new iPhone 10s, whatever. I was gonna say, it's always people say iPhone X,
Yeah.
S, and then it's like
So is it actually 10?
Max. Sorry, that was the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's 10.
It's 10.
The official Apple thing is iPhone 10s Max, and then 10.
That phone, I don't know. It's way overpriced now. You want to pay like $2,000 for a phone, $3,000 for
I
a
feel,
phone.
in my
be
opinion,
guess.
this is not a upgrade that's worth getting
No.
over like the original 10. It's not that big.
I'm interested in getting a one of those OnePlus ones.
Yeah, OnePlus is actually a pretty good phone
And
for
it's
the
a
price.
decent price. Like even the OnePlus,
Yeah, this-
what's the latest one is 6,
Current one, yeah.
and you get 8 gigs RAM and up to 256 gigs for
Oh
like
yeah, no, on
$800 or something.
on paper they're like some of the best bang for the buck
Yeah.
you could get. And the 6 and 6T, I don't know if 6T's already out or if that's one coming out,
It's probably coming.
but those are like highly ranked phones.
Yeah.
I'm using the OnePlus 3T
Yeah.
right now. So
I like
it's
the
2 years
6.
old.
I
but
like the OnePlus 6. I'm really considering buying.
Somewhere along the way, Apple just stopped being that company where everybody, tried to follow, and now it's just like it's like they're coming out with these phones, and you gotta pay full price for them, but they're literally just like fucking like just shitty DLCs that you have to pay the full price for.
Well, that's the thing, because a lot of these companies are saying like, oh yeah, we're different from Apple because we don't, whatever. But every single company basically has been copying iPhone. Like they came out with the phone with the notch. Every phone after that has been coming out with notch.
Which not what?
The the notch at the top, like I don't have one, but like basically the entire phone is the screen.
Yeah.
Except they'll have this bit in the
Oh.
middle that's like blacked out for the camera and everything.
So basically, a lot of companies are doing like the full screen, full face
all the
screen.
way to the edge.
Yeah, because
except
bezels
the-
aren't sexy anymore.
All
so.
right, because bezels are shit. Right.
Well,
right.
I like having thin bezels, but at one point or another, you're gonna reach the point where you're just holding your phone, and the edges of your hands or whatever are just gonna register as like button presses or something. So that's where it might get annoying.
Which is already happening with these really small bezels.
Yeah,
Like, or
but
barely.
the thing I'm afraid of,
bare
because
bezels.
there's been a ton of leaks of Google's Pixel 3, and it's showing a huge ass notch, like almost twice as thick as Apple's and stuff.
Jesus.
And the chin is also huge for no reason at all. So it looks absolutely disgusting of a phone, just based on that. But I'm hoping that it's going to be different. I don't know. I have to wait to see the conference to decide.
I don't know, man. These like phones are getting too much these days. It's like either
They're
I should buy a
ridiculously.
phone or put a down payment on a. Like,
It's only gonna get probably even worse, especially when 5G rolls around.
yeah.
Once 5G rolls around, like you're definitely gonna need your phone for a lot of things, and then they're just gonna get likely more expensive because like they'll have to be able to do all the functionalities of 5G and be able to handle all that.
Remember when technology meant small and sleek, like the Motorola Razr
Yeah,
way back when?
that's the
Yeah, and
progression
And now
you
we're
see.
just getting bigger and bigger
Yeah,
and bigger.
the progression you see of the scale of. There's a picture of cell phones. It's like you start with a huge ass brick
Yeah.
from like the 80s or something.
Yeah.
And then it progresses to get gradually smaller and smaller, and then now you're reaching like, well, not now, but in recent years it's getting bigger and bigger again.
Back to like a tablet that you're using as a phone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already having trouble like when I'm playing around with like some of the new phones, just trying to fit it in my pocket.
Yeah, this fucking brick doesn't fit in some of my.
You know what I think will be the next big thing? A phone that's basically like, if you think of a sliding phone, right? Like it's something that you can expand. A smartphone, which is like like the size of a lighter, but then you can expand the edges. Like you can pull on it, and it's like a thin, I guess, crystal screen, and it's like you can expand it to the size of whatever
Tony
phone
Stark
right now.
has that. In the,
Or your phone is just it's like hologram. You get access to hologram that
Yeah.
comes up. That's the only
I
way
would-
I think it will go smaller.
I'd like
Or
a
it could
hologram,
become-
but you don't get the same feeling of tapping or anything on
And
it.
you also
so-
don't get privacy if it's the hologram.
Well, everything changes because with these phones, you don't have the satisfaction of slamming the phone shut.
Oh yeah, and you don't also get button
Yeah,
clicks.
so we'll just move on.
I don't know if you ever had a BlueBerry, like a physical keyboard, but those were a lot more fun to text and type
Yeah.
on. I still miss it really, but I wouldn't want to sacrifice a screen space for a physical keyboard. That's a lot.
Not now.
Not now.
But back then, it was the greatest thing.
Well, yeah, because I'm still like so much faster with a physical keyboard there than like
Yeah.
this stupid thing, which makes more
I
mistakes.
hate because sometimes it lags in the touch, like when you're trying
Yeah.
to type fast.
yeah.
And autocorrect is more annoying.
Well, you get nothing. You get none of that tactile response or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a screen.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like we don't have the satisfaction of slamming a phone or typing on an actual keyboard. We'll just progress to not having the satisfaction of touching a screen.
I love the. I used to have a Sony Ericsson one, like really old one, but it slides to get the numpad and everything. It's
Was
you just slide it
underneath,
up,
yeah.
yeah. And that was always fun to like
Yes.
slide open and close because I don't know. It makes a very satisfying like click after it slides open. Yeah.
Not only the phone, but your carrier provider can still really suck. So even you bought an expensive phone, you're not even gonna get the full potential out of it.
And those phones used to last like days without charging.
Yeah.
Now
Because
this
there
like
was no backlight or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was just a.
it's true. But like man, I miss like not having a charger.
If these phones didn't have that huge of a screen with lit up all the time, they could last a week too.
Well,
It's
because they're
mostly-
also saying the battery technology is not keeping up with the phone
No, absolutely
design.
not.
So then, I don't know. Like they have to make some kind of design consideration. They're trying to make the chips smaller now to use up less battery. They're trying to make like that next 5 nanometer.
Well,
7
they should
nanometer.
they should just progress to the iPhone from Futurama.
Oh, that'd be horrifying. Where, for anyone that doesn't know, they actually put the phone in your eye, essentially.
But then it's a hologram that projects out in front of you. Right?
Yeah,
so
but
it'd be
I don't-
a mix of.
I already don't like eye stuff, like, because it's just freaky, like something coming at your eye.
But you wear glasses.
Someone's gonna do it. Someone's gonna
It's
make
not- I
contact
don't-
lenses, and it'll be like smart Google contact lenses.
Yeah.
Aren't they already doing that?
Well, you
They
don't want
have
to put that
Google
shit in your
Lens.
eye right now. Like one day when it's like matured and everybody has one, just like it was a phone. Or you can't even like discount people actually getting their eyeballs replaced by a smart eyeball.
Yeah.
Well, like Google Lens, it's an old thing that like basically died down. But that was the whole concept, you've seen it, right? It's just a little,
Yeah.
like a Super or a Saiyan.
Yeah, Super Saiyan, the
freaking
Scouter.
visor. Yeah, it's like that. But the concept was pretty genius if they actually followed through with it. I think it's like because you could see like personal navigation and everything going through it and everything, so you don't have to like keep looking at your phone or
Yeah.
And you can feel like Vegeta.
yeah.
Like-
You can look at people
You can
and
look
get
like
their power
Vegeta
levels.
at your work without being ridiculed.
I think it'd be great if that thing could actually do Face ID and just tell me people's names and stuff, because I am terrible with names.
It's over, Nathan!
Then we'd all be in a registry in order for that to do that.
You
We
can opt
will
out.
be.
We are actually.
We will be. The way that we're progressing.
Even if it's just like manual entry, like like a phone contact on your phone.
Yeah.
You enter their number, you put in their name. If you
then
just
next
do
time-
that, even like
yeah.
just with names or something, if it's up to the owner to input this information that wants to pull up, then I'd still be up for that, because I forget people's names all the time. Or even
But,
like
so if somebody knew, then you wouldn't know their name.
not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure they'll come up with some sort of registry that you could opt in or out of.
At this point, you shouldn't even. It's pointless to care about your privacy because they're not going to be there.
Yeah, that's why I don't mind like Google knowing everything. They already know everything.
Yeah. Google.
It tracks everywhere I go. Well, we're at the 1 hour mark.
Big
but-
Brother's watching.
All right. Thanks for listening. Sorry about the hectic schedule we've been having for release, but thanks for sticking with us. Tune in next time, whenever the hell that is, for Verbal Laxative.
Yeah.
Once again, I've been Jason.
I'm Hassan.
Once again, I've also been citizen.
Been and still am Jason. I should correct myself.
Hopefully,
And,
we'll continue to be.
Listen to any bonuses that if we release them.
Yes. Please.
Oh, and,
Please.
and,
like, comment, subscribe, do
yeah,
whatever.
Check out us on Twitter. I'll check it out too.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
We're desperate. Bye.
Goodbye.